Meow, my friends. Notre Dame is back and hotter than ever, which, given her history with fire, is saying something. After 5.5 years of restoration, this Gothic beauty has risen from the ashes like a phoenix in a fancy hat. And let me tell you, the reopening ceremony was more star-studded than a Kardashian Christmas card. On December 7th, 2024, over 50 global dignitaries descended upon Paris faster than you can say sacre bleu. We're talking President-elect Donald Trump, First Lady Jill Biden, Prince William, and even Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, because nothing says cultural unity quite like gathering world leaders who usually can't agree on the time of day. Trump's presence was particularly noteworthy. I guess he wanted to see what a successful reconstruction project looks like. But let's rewind a bit. On April 15th, 2019, Notre Dame caught fire faster than my enthusiasm for a salad. The blaze, likely caused by an electrical short circuit or a wayward cigarette, turned the 856-year-old cathedral into the world's most expensive bonfire. The iconic spire collapsed, the roof was destroyed, and the world collectively gasped. It was like watching your grandmother's antique china cabinet go up in flames, if your grandmother's china cabinet was a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The restoration project was a whopping $740 million affair. That's enough to buy every Parisian a lifetime supply of baguettes and berets. But fear not, my fiscally responsible friends. It wasn't all taxpayer money. Some of France's wealthiest individuals opened their designer wallets, with Bernard Arnault and François Pinault each pledging hundreds of millions. I guess when you're that rich, you've got to spend it on something other than gold-plated bidets. Meanwhile, the rest of France wondered if maybe some of that cash could have been spent on, I don't know, healthcare or education. But hey, who needs doctors when you've got flying buttresses? Now, let's talk about the craftsmanship. Over 1,000 artisans worked tirelessly to restore Notre Dame to her former glory. These weren't your average DIY enthusiasts. We're talking master carpenters, stonemasons and glassmakers, many from the Compagnons du Devoir. These folks are so dedicated to traditional techniques, they probably dream in medieval French. They rebuilt the spire using Eugène Viollet-le-Duc's 19th century designs, because nothing says modern restoration quite like going back 2 centuries. But it wasn't all old school. While they respected historical methods, they weren't above using a few modern tricks. Electric tools helped speed things along, and they even used drones for those hard-to-reach spots. Because nothing says 13th century craftsmanship quite like a flying robot, am I right? They also used 3D scans of the cathedral to ensure accuracy. It's like Tinder for architecture. Swipe right for historically accurate, swipe left for modern interpretations. The reopening ceremony was a spectacle to behold. South African soprano Pretty Yende belted out Amazing Grace, like she was auditioning for heaven itself. And then, just to keep things interesting, Pharrell Williams popped up with a gospel choir to perform Happy, because nothing says solemn cathedral reopening quite like a pop song about being as happy as a room without a roof, which ironically, Notre Dame was for a while there. I'm sure the medieval saints were tapping their stone feet. Emmanuel Macron, ever the smooth talker, delivered a speech that would make even the gargoyles misty-eyed. He proclaimed, "The bells of Notre Dame are ringing again," which is great news for everyone except the local pigeons. He went on to say, "I stand before you to express the gratitude of the French nation. Tonight, the organ will awaken." I'm not sure if he was talking about the cathedral or his political career, but either way, it's a miracle. Macron's hoping this cathedral will resurrect his approval ratings faster than Jesus on Easter Sunday. Archbishop Ulrich led the ceremony, blessing the doors with a staff made from salvaged wood from the fire. It's like the world's most expensive game of You're It. Tag, you're blessed. But let's not forget the real stars of the show, the tourists. Before the fire, Notre Dame welcomed about 12 million visitors annually. Now they're expecting that number to jump to 15 million. That's 40,000 people a day, folks. The queue for the bathroom alone is going to stretch to the Eiffel Tower. I hope they've installed some modern plumbing along with those medieval rafters. Speaking of modern additions, the new security measures are so tight. It's like trying to get into Fort Knox, if Fort Knox had stained glass windows and a gift shop. It's an interesting juxtaposition. 13th century architecture meets 21st century metal detectors. I guess even eternal salvation needs a pat-down these days. Now, if you enjoyed this fiery tale of resurrection, don't forget to like and subscribe to News Cats. After all, we can't let Notre Dame be the only thing rising from the ashes. Your support keeps us ringing louder than those newly restored cathedral bells. In all seriousness though, the reopening of Notre Dame is more than just a fancy ribbon-cutting ceremony. It's a symbol of resilience, a testament to human ingenuity, and a reminder that even in our darkest hours, we can rebuild. It's also a pretty good excuse for a party. But let's focus on the profound stuff for now. As we marvel at this achievement, let's not forget that while world leaders can agree on preserving a cathedral, they're still bickering over slightly more pressing issues like climate change and world peace. But hey, baby steps, right? At least they all showed up without starting World War III. In these trying times, that's practically a miracle worthy of Notre Dame itself. We'll keep you informed as the story develops. I'm Ron de Parmesan, reporting for News Cats.